It's Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance in the San Gabriel Valley region with Joe Lyons. He's a councilman in Claremont, but very involved in regional politics. And you were part of the Committee of 50 for the Measure H planning group.
Yes.
Measure H, of course, was the initiative passed by the county in March to provide funding for homeless services, homeless programs. Talk to us about the committee, the recommendations made, and what the Board of Supes did in the end.
Well, the Board of Supervisors received the results of that group's efforts, which included the funding recommendations for 21 strategies that.
Right, and I would mention, I think it's important, just as the Board of Supervisors was receiving the recommendations, the homeless count came out.
That's
for
correct.
2017, and it was crushing.
Yes.
We now have 57,000 homeless in Los Angeles County. It was a 23% spike.
That's correct.
In the city of LA, there was a 20% spike. The press conference was heartbreaking. I mean, you could tell the elected officials were just crushed.
Yes. And so this opportunity couldn't come at a better time. I think that there are a lot of factors that contribute to that. Some of those will be, discovered during interviewing with people as to how they got where they got. But I think that the most important outcome of the whole planning group was, again, getting everybody at the table to see what the challenges were, and then to provide a reasonable budget proposal to the county.
But I want to ask you, look, LA County is huge. I have to think the challenges in Claremont are different from the challenges in Castaic or the challenges in Chatsworth.
That's correct. Or LA
LA City
proper.
Specifically.
Yes.
And so how do you come together at that point?
Well, what was one of the missing elements to the suggestions that went forward was engaging the various council of governments and cities, or making opportunities available for them to plan. I think you're absolutely right that one size does not fit all, and that by allowing cities to plan for meeting their specific needs was very important.
And how did you engage in that? Because look, you represent Claremont. It's a fairly affluent city. I could be wrong, but my gut tells me your homeless population is not that significant. Maybe bigger than it was, but you don't have the same challenges as Santa Monica.
No, we don't. But what this opportunity allows us to do is to work with cities, again, that don't have as large of a problem as our neighboring community of Pomona.
Which does have a significant crisis.
Which does have a significant crisis. And in fact, because they deal as effectively as they can, they end up being kind of the catchment area for many. So what we worked for, and through the efforts of Supervisors Solis and Barger, we are able to procure funding directly to COGS and cities.
And COGS, Council of Governments, which kind of oversee a lot of public dollars.
So the entire San Gabriel Valley is covered, all 31 communities, by this multi-municipality agency, and they will help plan for the kind of coordinated efforts that will diffuse and allow cities to manage their own unique homeless issues.
So how quickly does the money flow? Because we know that the City of Los Angeles had their own measure in November, HHH, County had H, but I remember, I think I may have asked you this last time, Prop 1 in 2014 was for water bond funds, and that money's flowing really slowly.
Yes. I think with the preparation that the county lead agencies that will be overseeing most of the money's distribution, I had the opportunity to plan ahead in anticipation, did a good job at doing that, came to the group of 50 with a already kind of vetted suggestions, and the money will start flowing as early as October. There was a snafu over initiation of collection date. But my understanding is that on certain programs that are ongoing, that the funding can be provided in advance of actual money that will then backfill the budget that will be used and accessed. So that money will become available. I think cities and other communities will take some time getting up to speed, but it is available immediately in some cases.
One of the crown jewels of the San Gabriel Valley, the San Gabriel Valley Mountains.
Yes.
And during the Obama administration, President Obama declare the San Gabriel Mountains a national monument.
Yes.
Now, what we know is that President Trump and his administration are looking at de-designating
Yes.
certain monuments, and those monuments that are most at risk are those that are not congressionally approved. San Gabriel Mountains was not congressionally approved. So do you believe that the San Gabriel Mountains National Monument, which is really new, is at risk of de-designation?
I think all of them are at risk. We were on the list because of the fact that we were not congressionally approved. So we're under the scrutiny of the Secretary of the Interior, who will, again, assess all of the available information that's being brought to him. We were fortunate enough to have we did have universal kind of support for it. The County Board of Supervisors submitted a letter in support of. The collaborative, which I am a member of,
Right, yes.
was also supportive.
Because, and you mentioned the collaborative, you're still trying to figure out, meaning the people involved, what the scope of the monument is.
That's
we know
correct.
boundaries, but
Yes, we know boundaries, and we know that the plan to manage is in its final stages of being drafted and submitted for public approval or public oversight, and that what will then be put in place will be implementation. Our charge as a collaborative ends with the plan. However, the Forest Service, in particular the Angeles service group, really appreciates our contribution.
so
we
let's
will continue.
Yeah, so let's talk about the plan and the group of the collaborative, which includes folks that not necessarily were in support.
That's correct.
I mean, I think of one member of the Glendora City Council. She's been on our show, Judy
Yes.
Nelson. I mean, she was not a big supporter of
No,
the
she
monument,
was
but
not.
she is now on board. I'm not speaking out of turn. She said that on our show.
correct.
And so it is interesting how forces have come together to
Yes.
support this.
And I have to give full credit for that ability for us to come together with quite diverse and differing opinions about the value of having the federal government engaged in a monument so close to us. But that the National Forest Foundation did an excellent job at facilitating what was a consensus building experience
Right.
for all of us. I told people as an elected, I only have to count to 3 to know that I have the votes in my favor or
But
not.
in this
In this case, there were 50 members that had to at least be able to live with a decision made by the group as a whole.
And have you?
And we
Or are you
did.
still doing it?
We have submitted our final recommendations
To Forest Service?
To the Forest Service. We will then, and we're actually in the process of reorganizing around providing a planning mechanism where plans will come forward, at least for our assessment of value, to the various stakeholder groups that were involved. The Forest Service ultimately maintains absolute authority over the decisions
Sure.
made, but it is considered by the Forest Service at the national level to be a model of how a community can come together with diverse opinions and work to a common goal, which is the best utilization of a natural asset of the United States for the best interest of those that surround and for the interest of
So
the state.
when do we anticipate would it be final approval of the plan?
Yes, that will come by the end of October likely. They were under a 3-year requirement by the proclamation to submit and have provided to the federal government their plan to manage the park.
His name is Joe Lyons. He is a councilman in Claremont, but so involved in so many important organizations throughout this region. My name is Brad Pomerance. We're coming to you from the San Gabriel Valley. Thank you so much for joining us on Local Edition.